So Joe Biden just gave a speech on his economic recovery plan, and in many ways it was one of the better speeches Joe Biden has given. It really underlined that he's learned some of the mistakes he made and the Democrats made back in 2009, 2010 with the last recovery plan, and how they put bipartisanship above all. In the two clips I'm going to show you, Joe Biden makes it clear Republicans will not block and obstruct his efforts, and that if anything, the risk isn't spending too much and going too big on stimulus, but going too small and not doing enough.
I know some in Congress think we've already done enough to deal with the crisis in the country. Others think that things are getting better and we can afford to sit back and either do little or do nothing at all. That's not what I see. I see enormous pain in this country. A lot of folks out of work. A lot of folks going hungry, staring at the ceiling at night wondering, what am I going to do tomorrow? A lot of folks trying to figure out how to keep their jobs and take care of their children. A lot of folks reaching the breaking point. A lot of folks are losing hope. And I believe the American people are looking right now to their government for help, to do our job, to not let them down. So I'm going to act, and I'm going to act fast. I'd like to be doing it with the support of Republicans. I've met with Republicans. There's some really fine people who want to get something done, but they're just not willing to go as far as I think we have to go. I've told both Republicans and Democrats that's my preference to work together. But if I have to choose between getting help right now to Americans who are hurting so badly and getting bogged down in a lengthy negotiation, or compromising on a bill that's up to the crisis, that's an easy choice. I'm going to help the American people who are hurting now. That's why I'm so grateful to the House and the Senate for moving so fast on the American Rescue Plan. So, the way I see it, the biggest risk is not going too big if we go too small. We've been here before. When this nation hit the Great Recession that Barack and I inherited in 2009, I was asked to lead the effort on the Economic Recovery Act to get it passed. It was a big recovery package, roughly $800 billion. I did everything I could to get it passed, including getting 3 Republicans to change their votes and vote for it. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't quite big enough. It stemmed the crisis, but the recovery could have been faster and even bigger. Today, we need an answer that meets the challenge of this crisis, not one that falls short. And that's the issue facing the country right now. What Republicans have proposed is either to do nothing or not enough. All of a sudden, many of them have rediscovered fiscal restraint and the concern for the deficits. But don't kid yourself. This approach will come with a cost. More pain for more people for longer than it has to be. Secretary Yellen talks about the scarring effect that comes with prolonged economic pain. We see that scarring effect in economic data, but more important, we can see it in the lives of people living with long-term unemployment, living in hunger, at wit's end over how to keep their jobs, take care of their kids.
And so that's what Biden underlines there. In those 2 short clips I played you, he does a really good job, frankly. And it's something that I didn't expect from Biden or the Democratic leadership, going into this new government. Biden said, that, bipartisanship is good. I've met with Republicans. That's standard Biden fare. But then Biden makes it clear saying, if they're going to not do enough or not do anything at all, I'm going to basically ignore them and move on without them. If they want to play ball, I'll play ball. But if they don't, I'll go play with the votes I have and I'm going to get it done. And that's the right approach. And that's something that the Democrats did not do. They did not do that in 2008, 2009, 2010. They bent over backwards to get Republicans, even when they didn't need them. They tried that so hard, and it made the deal weaker and slower and more ineffective, and was probably, from a selfish perspective, one of the reasons they lost the midterms in 2010. So Biden is right there. Republicans who are now worried about fiscal prudence again because they're not in power anymore and Trump isn't president have no recourse to demand a small bill. Biden says he has the votes. He's going to go with his full package, and that's a good thing. Republicans can play along if they want. Also important here is that line from Biden. You can go too small, but you can't really go too big. You know, one of the traditional arguments from a lot of neoliberals, including people often like Biden, is that you don't want to make the stimulus package too big because it's costly, it might overheat the economy, you might be wasting money, you might be helping people that don't need it, blah, 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 blah. But by him saying, I'd rather go big and go home, you know, you got to go big or go home. You got to go big and not small. You can't really go too big, but you can go too small. If you go too big, you just help more people and you spend a little bit more money. Is it ideal? You can have a debate about it, but it's not going to destroy things. If you go too small, however, crucially, many people will be left out from the recovery, if they recover at all. And in general, even the people that do recover, the recovery will be more painful and just be drawn out, whether we're talking about individuals or businesses or industries or regions. So Biden is correct to say that, look, if I have a choice between spending more and helping people and being fiscally prudent, I'm going to choose to go big. And that's important to hear. Now, I want to be clear. None of this is me absolving some of the decisions being made around the edges. I don't like the fact that the minimum wage discussion has sort of gone by the wayside here, as if maybe they want to leave it out of the stimulus discussion. I don't want to ignore the fact that Biden is still potentially considering changing who gets the $1,400 checks. And I don't want people to forget that really they promised $2,000 checks sort of distinct from the first $600 because they never said $1,400. So I don't want people to look by all those things and stop criticizing Biden. But I definitely think this tone is very different. Joe Biden and Barack Obama never took this combative tone with Republicans back in 2009, and they are now. And if Biden actually sticks to his words, the likelihood of a better, quicker, and more equitable recovery is going to be higher.